I told you there would be a moment. Well, guess what? The moment's here. The fight is coming. Let's go!
Boxing King Media in association with Boxro out here in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia with Dev Sani. Made your way to Saudi, Dev?
Made my way to Saudi. Lovely place. Got here last night. Been treated very well and enjoying it. Nice weather during the day as well. And I feel very overdressed for it because I went for a walk earlier. Jeans on, suit jacket on, and it just ain't the one. But it's nice.
I know you were in Dubai recently as well. It's similar sort of vibes?
Not yet, because I haven't like gone out for the evening, so I don't know yet. I've heard good things. Umar's been he's been out and about and he has been saying good things. So, but I don't know yet myself.
Good man. Let's talk about the big fight. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. It's actually happening. Because I'll be honest, even me up until last Friday was thinking, is it going to happen? Is it not? It's actually happening.
It's actually happening, mate. Third time of asking. I mean, for the first one, I was going to head out there. Then he'd done his ribs. Second one, I was at the airport with him. Then whatever happened there. And now we're here. I am here. Tommy Fury is here. Jake Paul is here. And surely nothing can stop them fighting now. I'm hyped. I'm excited that this is going to happen. We're going to see a winner. We're going to see hopefully a conclusive end to the fight. Perhaps not an end to the rivalry, because if Tommy Fury wins, the talk is that Jake Paul gets the opportunity to do it again. But we'll find out the truth.
Now, speaking to Team Fury, they're all mega confident that Tommy stops him. They're not even predicting points. They reckon it's going to be a stoppage. Obviously, based on their most recent performances, and we can't judge Tommy on the exhibition fight because it was an exhibition, and obviously in exhibitions you can't do certain things. So, do you think maybe Team Paul are maybe judging Tommy on that exhibition fight?
He said something. I don't think you can take anything away from the exhibition fight. By the way, that was kind of, there wasn't a lot going on, and it was an exhibition. So I wouldn't read too much into that. I think Team Paul have probably looked at the fight with Anthony Taylor, which was on Jake Paul's undercard, where Tommy didn't perform to his best, but maybe he had a very awkward opponent in front of him where he wasn't sort of designed to look that great, unfortunately. So I think they've taken confidence from that. Something that Tommy Fury said to me, and this was after he faced off with him in the ring, he talked about, it's taken a few bad performances, but we've got here now, suggesting that maybe he's not performed at his best in order to entice this fight. He said to me, if he'd have knocked everyone out, do you think I'd be getting this fight, Dev? I don't know. Maybe if he was just, a stone cold killer, 100% KO rate, maybe Jake Paul wouldn't entertain it. But clearly he's seen something. The theory is maybe Tommy Fury has put that something there.
What do you make of a lot of boxing experts, I'm going to call them, in the UK, people that respected boxing opinions are either saying it's 50-50 or favouring Jake Paul?
I mean, that's why there's so much intrigue. There's a lot of voices out there saying a lot of things. The important thing is that they are talking, and I think there's going to be a lot of egg on a lot of faces on Monday morning.
And just quickly, Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson, Devin Haney, I've just heard as well. There's some seriously big names in town.
It's a big show. Cristiano Ronaldo as well. Apparently, yeah. Look at your face. Yeah. Apparently, he's gonna rock up.
And the Prince has casually just been walking past.
Yeah. Princes are knocking about. Of course they are. I'm hearing stuff about Kevin Hart. I mean, this is the place to be. This weekend, this is the place to be, and I'm very excited to be here. And I'm just hyped for this fight now. I can't wait to see it. I mean, I've never been so hyped about an 8-0 and 6-0 fighters going at it, but this one just hits different.
And last question on this fight. Say if Tommy wins, obviously this is with Queensberry hat on. Where do you take Tommy next? Because surely from this, if he wins, he's got to headline every fight he's on, every show he's on. He's going to be headlining against names and fighting in big arenas. Because you can't really go back to your call, or no disrespect to your call, but do you know what I mean? You can't be fighting on the undercard or chief support to someone.
It's a good question. What does Tommy do post Jake Paul? If everything goes to plan for Tommy Fury, he beats Jake Paul on Sunday. Jake Paul then apparently has the option to call on the rematch. So then his next fight would be Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. And then, I don't know, he talks about wanting to become a world champion and pursuing all of that. But there will be I would imagine millions of pounds dangled in front of him for fights with less jeopardy than professional boxing fights. I would imagine Logan Paul will be watching on thinking, let me go and get revenge. Let me go and get him back. I'd imagine KSI will be looking on and he'll be interested. These are monster names. So it's going to be a difficult decision for Tommy. Does he just kind of stick in this world for a couple of years, or does he get back onto the track towards world titles, which is what he says he wants to do? I'm not sure what happens next, to be honest with you. I think once he does his business, he'll have a little look around and see what offers come in.
Definitely. So let's take your mind back to the UK. I know you're in Saudi, but I'm going to put your UK hat back on. The news broke this morning, I think it was, if I got my timings right. Conor Benn has been cleared by the WBC, and they've accepted his reasons that it could have been caused by a large consumption of eggs, and I think I've read 34 eggs a week. So your initial reaction to that, were you expecting that? I know we was told by Conor a few weeks ago that he would be cleared. Your initial reaction to that when the news came out?
It's tough to say anything right at the moment on that. Listen, it felt like the WBC thing was like part one of like a big thing going on. Obviously, there's the British Boxing Board of Control put out a statement, a quite strong statement, saying, listen, we hear you, WBC, but you're not making the ruling on this. We make the ruling on this. So it feels like part one has been completed. They've gone the WBC route. They've got their resolution there. Now, as a British fighter, if he wants to fight in the UK, he needs to go before the board. And let's see what happens next. Maybe they won't ever fight in Britain again. Maybe that will happen. Who knows?
It is worth mentioning he's not the first fighter to be cleared by, for a failed drug test. Obviously, there's other names that have been mentioned for, eating certain types of meat, taking over-the-counter medication. So he's not the first one. So it's worth mentioning that as well. What did you make of Sonny Edwards' tweets? I think he's been quite outspoken on it. Sonny Edwards, he's been on fire on Twitter today. To be fair, he was pretty quiet up until this matter's been investigated. Now that the ruling's been made, he's basically obviously his opinions are out there.
Look, he is a fighter. He's a very opinionated fighter, and he's a smart guy, one of the smartest out there. And you can see his sort of quick wit on Twitter, on social media, and he'll have his opinion. And people will agree, people will disagree. He's going to do his thing.
I've done a couple of polls on Instagram and Twitter. 70 to 80% feel that the WBC made the wrong decision. That seems to be the general consensus, just looking at what the fans are thinking. What do you think the mood is amongst the general boxing public? Because obviously you're part of that.
Well, you've just told me, haven't you?
I'm on about the fans. I'm on about you as
right.
Being on the other side.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's going to be voices within boxing, mainly from his side, talking about this is all good, this is all fine, and there'll be voices against it. It'll be interesting to see what the next step is. That's what I'll say on that, because he's a British fighter that has boxed in Britain for his whole career. Does he choose to box his next fight in the UK, or does he plan and do something else? And if he does something else, how will that be treated without going before the board? I don't know. They're going to carve out his career. They're going to carve out what they're going to do.
Next move on is potentially Manny Pacquiao, which Eddie's been obviously mentioned several times. I spoke to Dominic Ingle a few weeks ago, and he was like mega against it, saying, suggesting who needs the money. Is it the people behind the fighters, or is it the fighters? And he's suggesting Manny could end up sitting in a wheelchair if he goes ahead with his fight. What's your opinions on that? I
think it would be very sad, to be honest. If that fight happened, I just think it would be quite sad. He's a retired fighter. Why are they calling out a retired fighter? But, he's clearly in talks to come back. The teams are clearly talking, and that would be under the instruction of Manny Pacquiao. They're not just doing it for the sake of it. So clearly he has an interest in coming back. And maybe Conor Benn's the man who gets that ticket. What do I think of the fight? You've got a 26-year-old against a 44-year-old, and that 44-year-old relied on speed, largely speed. That was his thing. He was so quick, and power. And I don't know how much speed and power you have at 44 years old. It's a high-profile fight. I'm not sure what it does for the career trajectory of Conor Benn other than make his name bigger, which is great. But there's plenty of other guys to fight out there. But maybe there's a little too much jeopardy in those fights.
Dev Sani, as always, it's been a pleasure speaking to you in another country. I think it's the first time we've done anything outside the UK, so it's been a pleasure, and thank you, and enjoy the rest of your week.
No worries. Enjoy.
I told you there would be a moment. Well, guess what? The moment's here. The fight is coming. Let's go!